All right, folks, you know what time it is? It's Wednesday, which means it is midweek mind shift. Say hello to future you. This is part 5, the actualizing the future you. Let's get into it. Hey, my friends, Dallas Amston coming at you from the Neighborhood Loan Studio here in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's the Midweek Mind Shift. This is one of my favorite times of the week. So glad to have you here. So excited. If you've been with us for any length of time, or if you've watched the rest of the Mind Shift series, here's where we've been, all right? We have gone through 4 steps to actualizing future you. There are 2 versions of you, right? You've heard me say this in the entire Mind Shift series. There's 2 potential yous out there. A future you want to avoid, and a future you want to embrace. This is the idealized version of you. This is the one that you say, man, when I think about my future, everything is right if I do it this way. If I have the relationships that are rewarding, I have a great, future lined up for myself financially, physically, in my health, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, socially, all of those things. This is the ideal version of you. Unfortunately, most of us find ourselves in the old belief behavior cycle, right? If you were part of the Future You 5-Day Challenge, we are going to have another one of those again coming up soon. But if you were part of this, you got to really work on that old trigger belief behavior cycle that's keeping you toward a trajectory of a future you want to avoid. So we have talked about for the last 5-6 weeks now, we've talked about all of the steps of actualizing future you. There is first visualizing, there's emotionalizing it, right? Seeing the picture and feeling the feels about the excitement of becoming this version of you that's out there in the future, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 years from now. So we visualize it, we see it. We emotionalize it, we feel it on the inside. And then we begin to vocalize it in our power script as well as our micro scripts, that auto-suggestion element. Then we begin to internalize that. We talked about that last week on the pod. Again, if you need the whole playlist, it's below in the show notes for you. But we internalize it, and now we get to talk about the 5th and final step today, actualizing future you. This is a really exciting thing because there are going to be opportunities for you to actually beta test the new version of you. Or could I say it like this? Try a demo of the new version of you. And that's what the rest of today's conversation is going to be all about. But I first want to just give you a warning that the upgrade is not always easy. Now, I'm not saying that to put it in your paradigm and make it your script, but there are going to be old environments, right? There are going to be old relationships. There's going to be old situations, and it's going to be recurring things that happen in your life. I call them the typical triggers. They are the things that seek to drag you back down. They're the things that seek to pull you into old beliefs, old behaviors. We have to become hyper aware that as we are actualizing this new version of ourselves, what is going to occur is there's going to be a fight of the old you trying to survive. The old you wants to survive because that's comfort, right? That's ease, that's simplicity, that's the path of least resistance. That's what the old you is hoping to survive. Think of it like you've caged this animal, right? And you're trying to starve this old version of you out. This is a horrible metaphor now that I think about it. This is not, hey, we're not fighting dogs here, okay? I promise you guys, in this coming week, Taylor's going to have a microphone, and she's smiling right now, and she would be telling me, Dallas, don't talk about dog fighting in cages. Move on. But let's just get away. The old you is like this caged animal, and it's fighting for survival right now. It's fighting to still stay alive as you're trying to become this new version of you. So don't be surprised if you feel the resistance. And if I can encourage you, lean into the resistance. You are currently, you're facing headwinds right now. You're steering the boat toward a new version of you that you want to be. And so you're going to feel that choppy waters until you finally get the wind in your sails and you start moving in the right direction. So just know that the choppiness means it's working. The resistance means it's occurring. All of those things, the fighting of the old mindset, right? Not the mind shift we're having, but the fighting of the old mindset is proof that you are becoming a new upgraded version of you. And that's actually really exciting. So when you feel the resistance, here's how you face it. You don't go, ugh, why am I feeling so much resistance? Ugh, why is this so hard? Ugh, why is this? No. We have to change our thinking about that. And we actually have to start to say things like, oh, that resistance means it's working. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling like this is rough, but that means it's right. Rough means right. Resistance means you're getting ready for the breakthrough, right? If you're pushing up against the wall, that means you're getting ready to become this new version of you. So congratulations. You see it, you feel it, right? You begin to speak it. Our words have power in creating our reality until you begin to internalize it and you actually feel the old version of you. Instead of the quick reaction, you're starting to create a little response space, right? Couldn't have stuttered over those words more. That was a huge point, and I just stuttered over it. Let me say it again to you. These are raw, by the way. We don't edit these down, just in case anybody's wondering, where you're like, hey, why don't you cut that out and say it again? Because I don't want to. This is the real version of me, all right? I'm going to screw it up, and it's totally fine. Y'all love me, and it's great. Instead of the snap reaction, here comes your take two, instead we get to create a little space for a response. The future version of you who you want to become doesn't blow up like old version of you, doesn't snap like old version of you, doesn't overreact like old version of you. You see the possibilities and you go, nope. This is how we're going to respond to this, because I respond now with peace, with love, with kindness, with joy in my heart, with grace for other people, right? I respond now with the space and the maturity to say it's okay. Future you is sage. Future you is wise one. Future you has been through so many things. And present you, if you begin to realize that person and you begin to behave like future you in the present, oh my goodness. And so what we're going to find here in the next part of our conversation is there are a lot of opportunities, like I was just saying a few moments ago, a lot of old environments, a lot of old relationships, a lot of old situations that occur that are going to seek to pull you back. But you have a choice to actualize, or should I say it like this, to beta test the new version of you in this present reality. And we're going to talk about how you kind of can do that in just a moment. But first, let's hear from our sponsors. If you are a business professional and you're looking to lose 25 to 50 pounds of that stubborn belly fat over the next 90 days, I want to tell you about one of the programs from our sponsors, the Shed Fat Fast program with Joel Staley. Joel has helped over 1,500 clients lose all of that fat, get in the best shape of their life, and he does it with a proprietary fasting protocol that's guaranteed to get you results without giving up the food that you love. I know it works because I'm in the program right now, and I'm telling you, this thing is getting me results. I know it can get you results as well. He's got a free training for you. Go to shedfatfast.com. That's shedfatfast.com. Check out his free training. And when you call in, be sure and mention that you heard about it from the Dallas Daily Show. Hey, everybody. I just want to give a quick shout out to our studio sponsor here at Neighborhood Loans Studio in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're in the market for a new home, look no further. Their 5-star team is excellent. They can help you get what you need. And I can personally connect you with their team, or you can check out their website, neighborhoodloans.com. Again, that's neighborhoodloans.com, or feel free to call them 314-658-9400. Again, that's 314-658-9400. And even though the studio's located here in St. Louis, Missouri, they can service you nationwide. So trust me when I say you are in the best hands with Neighborhood Loans. All right, so let's get into this idea of how do you beta test the new version of you? Well, okay, you first have to think through some of the old environments, right? There are environments that you used to walk into or that you've walked into for years where you are the familiar person. Your norm, right? Everybody remember the old TV series Cheers? And Norm Peterson, aka George Wendt, the actor, would walk in and the entire bar would go, Norm, right? Norm was very defined in that environment. Everybody kind of knew how to interact with Norm there. Everybody kind of knew what they were going to get. Hey, Mr. Peterson, what'll it be today? Same as yesterday, whatever. He'd always have his little zinger one-liner. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear. Like that was a famous Norm Peterson joke. So you come into these familiar environments, and people have you defined. Well, how can you redefine yourself in that environment? Well, maybe number one, you come in with a different energy than normal. Maybe you're used to coming in and slinking in and everybody's expecting you to be the one who commiserates with them, right? You're in co-misery with them. And so they expect, hey man, how you doing? Ugh, well, you know how it is, right? You can be a different version of you in that environment. You can choose before you ever walk through that door to actually say, you know what? Today, I'm going to do things differently. And when you walk in and they're like, yeah, how you doing, Norm, right? You have the opportunity to say, you know what, guys? I'm trying something different. It's a great day. I'm excited to be here. You can literally tell people, I'm trying something different when you walk into old environments. You can say, hey, you know what? You guys are used to seeing this side of me. Today, I'm gonna try something out. I'm gonna try being a little more positive. That's literally demoing the new version of you. I know that sounds inanely simplistic, but I'm telling you, if the same old environments and the same old relational dynamics seek to pull you back down, they're going to try as soon as you walk in. So what you have to do before you ever walk in the door, you have to decide. First, you visualize, right? You visualize it and you emotionalize it. No. Old me would commiserate with these people. The new me is the one who leads them to a higher frequency, to a higher energy, to a more positive result, right? So the new you visualize who you want to be in the old environment. You emotionalize, oh, this is what it would feel like to be the new me in the old environment. You begin to speak like, no, tomorrow I'm going to not commiserate with them. I'm going to be the leader in the positive energy because I'm so happy and grateful now that I am a leader, now that I am a positive influence on people, now that every time I enter a room, people feel better because I'm in it. See, those are things you may have put in your power script. Talked about that in the vocalize episode. Those are things that you may have put into your power script. However, if all you ever do is say them and you don't ever apply them, what good are they going to do? So what we have to do is we have to start saying, oh, in this environment, I want to begin to be the person who brings life, not brings commiseration. So you vocalize that to yourself. You internalize it to where you're like, heck yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right before you walk through the door. And the moment you walk through the door into that old environment, you have a choice. Will I settle back into the old me and the old commiseration and the old low frequency that has forever been defined by this group of people in this area, in this environment? Or will I just simply announce to them when they're like, oh, how you doing? And they're trying to bring you back down into the old you or into the low frequency. You have the choice to go, you know what, guys, today I'm doing pretty good. I've been trying something new. And if you don't mind, I'm not in the mood to commiserate. Tell me what's going on great in your life. Now, people might think you're crazy, and that's okay. For those of you watching the video version, I looked straight into camera too for that one, and I said, that's okay. If people think you're crazy, that's all right, because the new version of you is illogical to the old them, right? The new version of you is crazy, because you're more magnetic, right? It used to be that when you were down heavy with them, when you were in the low vibration and the low frequency, you were gravitational, meaning you were keeping people down, quote, down to earth. That's what it means to be gravitational, but you're no longer gravitational. You are now magnetic. You draw people to you. You pull them up to where you are rather than sitting down with them in the heaviness. So it's time for us to be less gravitational and more magnetic. The future you is higher. Your poles are charged, baby, north and south. You attract who you're supposed to attract, and you repel who you're supposed to repel. That's how magnets work. When they are properly polarized in the north and the south, when it's not lined up, you ever done that with magnets? They go together. They repel when they're not polarized the same way. But when you're magnetic and you draw people to you, boom, baby, it's so sweet. So nice. So I want you to start to think about the fact that you no longer have to be heavy and gravitational or even just tell yourself the lie that you have to be down to earth. Nope, you're demoing the new magnetic version of you in that old environment. And what you're doing is you're saying, who's going to come up with me? Who's going to be the new me? If you've examined your typical triggers, that could be a social environment or a work environment. Don't commiserate any longer. But let's say it's in your home environment. Let's say it's with my wife or my kids. They're used to an old version of me that would snap about this or blow up about that or get frustrated and ugh. Oh no, Dad's going to be upset about this. Don't make sure Dad doesn't see it. But when I see it, what if I demoed the new version of me? What if I created a little bit of space between the catalyst and my reaction, and instead it was catalyst that would normally make everybody go, uh-oh, Dad might get upset about this, and instead I went, and I create a little response space, and I demo what would future Dallas do in this old situation, this old relational dynamic. What would future Dallas do? What would new Dallas do? Well, doggone it, that's a vastly different question. And then I move into the situation. I move into the environment, and I just simply demo the new me. I beta test it out. And if it's not quite right, I have grace. I'm like, yeah, we still got some bugs to work out. There's still some upgrades to work out, right? So it's not going to be perfect at first, but it is going to be progressively transformative over time. Let me say that again. You might demo the new version of you. You might try out the beta test. And what's going to happen is you're going to be like, oh, I liked this, didn't like that. That's still a bug in the system. Oh, this old thought cropped up, right? We're building the awareness in our heads, and we're demoing this new version of us to become this new version of us. All we're doing is we've had the mind shift. We've said, okay, future me behaves like this in this environment. Or when the kids are goofing off and they spill the milk, right? That would be an old trigger for me because of an old story that used to happen in my family way back in the day. Ask any one of my siblings. I got 4 of them. You can ask any one of them, how do you feel today when you spill milk? We all react the same way, like, uh-oh, look around. We go into our limbic fight or flight system and we're like, uh-oh, we got to clean it up real fast, right? So that used to be my automated response. If I personally would spill milk or if the boys would spill milk, they'd be like, uh-oh. Now, it's not a big deal. Milk spills and they're like, oh, Dad, you're not reacting. No, I'm not. New me doesn't react to that. Old me would be triggered into an old, automated response. New me is like, nah, who cares? Clean up the milk. I know that seems like a really weird, simple example, but you've got those in your life where you're like, I don't know why this one thing has always triggered me. What would happen if it didn't trigger the new you? What would it be like when that typical situation or typical dynamic with a relationship popped in and new you showed up? It's already inside you. You've internalized it. You've said the scripts enough to where you begin to feel the space. So now just demo the space. Visualize it, see it, emotionalize it, feel it, vocalize it, speak it until you internalize it. You can start to become it and then actualize it. You actually manifest it in the world around you in every situation, with every person, in every environment, and every catalyst that used to trigger you. Now it doesn't trigger you because you're no longer triggered into old belief behavior sedation cycles that are downward spirals. Now, instead, when the happening of the catalyst occurs, you get on the trajectory of the future you that you want to be until it becomes your present reality. That's some good stuff. And I can tell you this, it's possible. We've been talking about this on the Mind Shift for a while. I have been doing the work every day for 3 years, and I am continuing to process. I just got back from a weekend retreat where I had to process through some old me stuff. I got away for 24 hours, about 40 hours, Friday night and Saturday night. My wife was like, hey, if you want to go work on this stuff, go work on it. Went to a retreat, had some silence, had some breakthrough. It's incredible what you can find if you begin to look for it. And when you begin to say, hey, future me, what would we do here? Hey, future Dallas, what would we do here? Hey, future Taylor, what would we do here? Hey, future Chris, John, Sarah, Rachel, whatever your name is, whoever you are, wherever you're listening right now. Future you is waiting for present you to decide, I am going to actualize it in my current reality. That's all I got for you today, my friends. I want to help you become the future version of you. I am on a mission for us to all begin to live at a higher frequency, at a higher reality, to live at the future possibility in our present space. So if you want help with that, connect with me. You guys got access to all the websites. Continue with us. Tomorrow we'll be back with our normal format of about 7-8 minutes. But if you're enjoying these MindShift calls, let me know. Reach out to me on social medias. Find me, email me, message me, whatever. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to hear how it is shaping or reshaping who you are becoming. Because that's ultimately what it's about. Your expansion, your growth, you becoming a better version of you. So that's it, my friends. Go out there. Have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to dallasdailyshow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.